Kirby Smart is at it again, ladies and gentlemen. What if I was to tell you, Clint, that having the number one linebacker in the country is good? Having the number one linebacker in the country in multiple years, back-to-back seasons, is even better. Georgia gets a big one here on the recruiting trail, and we're going to talk about it today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back. He is Daniel. I am Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Glad you guys are here. The 199, the loyal third segment listeners, listening all the way through the entire episode. Love the banter. Love when it gets off the rails because Daniel and I talk like fans do.
That's right.
If you come at us, Clemson fan. Talking about...
Are we here? Are we here with the Clemson fans?
Yeah, we made fun of Dabo because do you know what football fans do?
Mm-hmm.
They make fun of Dabo. And the news is we're not Dabo and we're not Clemson. We're not on the decline. We're on the incline. We have a coach who knows what the heck he's doing.
That's right.
And again, we have tape of Dabo being just an absolute fantastic summer camp counselor for third graders.
That's sure.
That'd be fantastic. I think he would make a killer career at that.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby, on the other hand, we have empirical data to
Kirby's out here doing other types of things, grown man types of things.
He's going and getting the number one linebacker in the entire nation. And Daniel, some number one linebackers are kind of okay, sure. Somebody has to be one from year in, year out. There has to be.
Yeah.
Others of them are built a little bit different. Not all number ones are the same. And Zaden Walker, he ain't like those. He ain't like anybody else, Daniel.
No, this kid is an absolute star in the making from Ellaville, Georgia. We're going to talk about him. We're going to break down what he does well. We're going to break down talk about where he might fit in this Glenn Schumann defense. But first, could we start with I mentioned in the open, Kirby goes out and lands not only the number one linebacker in last year's class, which he does land the number one linebacker in last year's class in Justin Williams, but he also lands Chris Cole, another five-star linebacker, the number 3 overall linebacker in the country in that class. And, by the way, he also lands Christopher Jones in that same class, maybe the best linebacker class that we have ever seen in a college football recruiting cycle. And that's not hyperbole.
No.
So he does that in 2024. And so you think this year, what's he going to do? Well, he's probably going to focus on some other position groups. He's probably going to play the game where he goes and looks elsewhere.
Sure.
No, Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart do not sleep. They do not slumber. They are not resting. They're not tired. The ball ain't heavy. They are continuing to land the upper echelon elite talent across the country. And this kid, just from right in Georgia's backyard, Zaden Walker, is a mega talent. And he comes home to Georgia. Clint, the big picture recruiting, especially on the defensive side of the football, especially at linebacker.
There it is.
It's Glenn Schumann. Like, we should just, how good is this Glenn Schumann guy? What's he got? What's the special sauce? What makes him connect so well with these prospects? Is it because he has a sparkly football? That's what I really want to know.
He doesn't have a single thing bedazzled anywhere in his home, nor in his office.
How does he connect with these kids? I don't understand.
Dabo seems to think that if you have a bedazzled football that literally no college football recruit has ever seen in their entire lives, that attracts them. No, this is what's so wild to me when we talk about Glenn Schumann, and this is likely the last year we have Glenn. unless he just goes ahead and laser focuses. I think, by the way, I'm calling my shot now, Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to give Glenn Schumann a call. They move on from Sam Pittman.
Wow.
I think they give him a call. I'm calling my shot. But unless Glenn is laser focused on a couple of jobs, which he should be, if he wants a college football head coaching job, he's going to get it after this year. And many people say, well, he's young, he's unproven, he's under Kirby. Kirby's the defensive coordinator, yada, yada. Well, you and I know that talent acquisition
that's malarkey.
It's absolute bull.
Yeah.
Dag nabbit. And talent acquisition is huge in college football. And Glenn Schumann has shown, you just listed, his position group and the focus of the defense inside line. He can go and just get anybody he wants. If you're a fan of good linebacker play in college football, you must be a huge fan of Georgia. And if you're not, you hate linebacker play. Glenn Schumann, his secret sauce is this abject ability to connect, be personable, develop, and just get every last squeeze of every lemon that he possibly can out of every young man to make them the best best linebacker, best defensive players in college football. That's what he does exceptionally well. Connect with these kids. The term that Kirby, they talk about family, talk about connection so much. And that starts with his coaching staff, and that's Glenn and Kirby. They are like a hand and a glove together, Daniel. And it's just, they go get what they want.
Raylan Wilson, CJ Allen, Troy Bowles. That was 2 years ago. And last year, I already told you, Justin Williams, Chris Cole, Christopher Jones. And now this year, you start off in 2025 with Zaden Walker, the number one linebacker prospect. Like, think about this room for years to come, Clint. All of the people that I just listed will be on campus next year.
Okay.
All of them together. You see what I'm saying?
That's filthy.
Do you see what I'm saying, though?
I do. And again, this is, do you see also why Pop decided I'm going to go check out Kentucky?
Well, see the bluegrass over there.
It might be greener.
I mean, you get a little brown liquid over there. Like, there's plenty of great things to like about Kentucky. Also playing time to be had.
Playing time.
Let's talk about Zaden Walker. We're going to talk about what he brings to the table, what we see out of this kid, what you're going to love about him as a Georgia fan. But first, I want to tell you about these.
These are, in fact, eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. That's the formula for winning championships. Is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level up to peak performance, supercharged roof rack, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, style, eBay Motors has you covered. Over 122 million parts. Your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And eBay Guaranteed Fit. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back, because eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the price you want, it's easy to make your car MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive. ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available for U.S. customers.
Is it a supercharged roof rack, or is it two separate? I can't ever tell in the.
I ask you this. If it was a supercharged roof rack,
I'm not mad about it. I'll take one.
You have piqued my interest.
I'm curious. What
you know what I'm curious about? I am curious about what the heck Zaden Walker brings to Georgia. We say linebacker at Georgia, and instantaneously we have a list that runs from the greatest of the greats, the current best linebacker in the NFL.
That's correct.
Hails from Georgia, my favorite Georgia player of all time, Roquan Smith, because he made every single person on the field look exceptional and erased anything that happened badly on the field. It was unreal what he was able to do. Channing Tindall. I mean, we just go down the list all day long. The Packers have a good one. The Dolphins, the Eagles. There are inside starting linebackers all across the league because of Georgia. And so we think Zaden Walker, we think, okay, which one is he going to be like? Is he an eraser, Roquan? Is he quick and intelligent, Nakobe Dean? Is he blitz and hard hitting, Channing Tindall? Daniel.
Yeah. Go ahead, ask. Go ahead and ask me.
Which one of those would you classify him under?
See, it's a curious thing because it seems as though you might have to choose one in order to classify a young man.
That's what I just asked you to do.
But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to choose on the little Scantron. Often it's option E. It's the one that's all the way over there on the right-hand side. Kids don't know what a Scantron is anymore, but clueless. But option E is all of the above, and that's truly what Zaden Walker is. I mean, you want to talk about elite off-the-page athleticism, this kid has it. He played two ways in high school. He was didn't play. A lot of kids play two ways. Sure. He was a star two ways in high school.
He played star, 18 touchdowns playing running back.
40 tackles, including 16.5 for loss, 7 sacks, 27 quarterback pressures, and oh, by the way, he caught 10 passes for 169 yards and 4 touchdowns, carried the ball 77 times for 518 yards and 13 touchdowns. 17. That was his junior season.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this guy plays outside backer. He plays on the edge of the line. He plays inside backer off the ball in the middle of the field. He plays running back. He plays tight end. He plays wide receiver. He played a half dozen positions in high school, excelled at all of them. You're going to see him focused, obviously, on the defensive side of the ball at Georgia. I don't expect him to be utilized. I know Georgia fans will get excited. Maybe he'll be utilized, and maybe he will. We've seen that very rarely from time to time. You know, special athletic talents will get utilized on both sides of the ball. And listen, this kid qualifies. He is a special athletic talent, like fast, size, quick twitch, change of direction, strength, like brute force. He has it all. Yep. And so you're going to see him potentially have that opportunity, but I expect him on the defensive side of the ball, Clint, I expect him to line up outside on blitz packages, and I expect him to line up inside on regular down and distance. I think he can do both. He can go sideline to sideline, and he can also blow up a tight end. I'm talking about blow up a tight end, destroy a running play before it ever even gets started, or pressure the quarterback. He brings it all to that side of the football. Yeah. And I think Georgia fans are going to love watching this kid play.
When we've talked about the only other likely comparison I have with the excitement of tape and do-it-allness that I've seen, I'm going to list a name that is on the offensive side of the ball, but take the vibe that we had watching his film, and he did everything, and apply it here. And it's the greatest tight end to ever play college football, and it was Brock Bowers' tape. Brock Bowers' tape, he ran over people. He ran the ball, handing off, end arounds, quarterback, kick return. He leapt off the page no matter what position and no matter what scenario in a game as the best player on the field. That's what Brock Bowers did, and that's what made Georgia say, yeah, come on out from the West Coast. You look at Zaden, his film.
Go watch it.
Any single play, singular play, regardless of position, regardless of what's being asked, regardless of what, he's the best during that play on the field. It's freakish, guys. So when you're talking about explosiveness, power, brute force, tenacity, pursuit, this guy has it all. I don't want to see him taking a handoff ever in my life.
No, I don't think he will.
I don't think I will, because this man is going to be a very, very soon bona fide stud at inside linebacker for Georgia. He's different. I mean, we have talent upon talent, 8 inside linebackers that are uber talented and smart and fast and all that. He leaps off the page when you're watching his film, Daniel. You can't help. You don't need that little circle to know where he's at. You're just like, oh yeah, there he is.
No, he reminds me of a hybrid between Jalen Walker and Nakobe Dean.
Holy jeez.
That's who he reminds me of. If you were to just amalgamate those two humans together into one individual, I think you have something similar to a Jaden Walker.
Could you
for Zaden Walker
for the Alabama fans with us right now?
I can't do that.
Okay.
I think the versatility that he comes with in terms of being able to play on the ball and off the ball with equal prowess, I think is going to serve him really well because, well, we're going to talk about this. Well, maybe I'll save that for the third segment. I think it's going to serve him really well when he comes to Georgia, but that is his greatest attribute. His greatest attribute, and I don't hate the comp with Brock Bowers. Obviously, people aren't going to understand the comp because they played different positions and they're totally different type of players.
Yes.
The thing that Brock Bowers was more than any other person on the field was athletic. Like that's what he was that you weren't. Like you thought you had athletes on your team, and then they tried to cover Brock Bowers, and you realized that they're not athletic, which is why when the NFL draft gurus came out and said, we don't know that this kid's athletic enough, it was like, oh, okay, you just looked at him and realized that he was white, and that's what you just said. I guess he's not athletic enough. Brock Bowers out-athleticked you on a consistent basis, and that's what made him elite. He also had the skill set and great hands and great intellect. Zaden Walker has all those things as well, and he's just an uber talented athlete. Clint, we were talking about this before we came on. He ran the 100 meters.
This is stupid. Listen, lean in. This is stupid.
He ran the 100 meters in 11.4. That's his personal best running track and field in high school. 11.4 in the 100 meters. Okay, to put some frame of reference around it, if you run in the high 10s, like the 10.8, 10.9, 10.7 type of range, you are an elite high school track star is what you are. Zaden Walker ran 11.4 in the 100 meters, and he is 6'2", 225. And he is every bit of 225. And you want to talk about some powerful legs and raw, motor that this kid has. To run 100 meters in 11.4 is, it's nearly unheard of for a player his size. And that's what gives you yes, he can get in there and blow up blocks. He can get in there and run through people. He tackles violently. But it's the chase down and the speed. You watch him play wide receiver in high school, and he's running away from people. People think they have angles on him, and he's just streaking down the sideline. It's the speed. It's the top end speed that I think separates him from every linebacker on Georgia's roster currently. And hear me say that clearly. He has top end speed that eclipses all of them. And there's some really good linebackers in that.
Justin Williams, we have some dudes that are in the pipeline that we're going to see and that can play football. But again, what makes me gravitate is exactly that. It is just the spark of the muscle fiber twitch that he has that other people genetically don't possess.
No, they don't have that. Sorry.
We're going to come back after this and wrap up with why this is so important for Georgia. But first, this.
I mentioned before the break, Clint, that I think it's his versatility is going to be to his greatest advantage. We mentioned all the talented linebackers that are ahead of him wouldn't be fair, but they are in classes ahead of him. They are years ahead of him in terms of time on campus and time on the playbook, and we know that matters.
It does.
And so we know that guys like Justin Williams and Chris Cole, and obviously guys like Raylan Wilson, Troy Bowles, and CJ Allen are going to have a decided competitive advantage over him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have the ability to, I want to hesitate when I say this, and I want to be careful that people hear what I'm saying.
Please do.
Begin down the Jalen Walker path.
Okay, good.
But not necessarily stick to the Jalen Walker path.
See what he's talking about there.
Because I think the upside for Zaden at an inside linebacker position is much higher than it is for Jalen Walker.
Yes.
But the reason that you see so much of Jalen Walker and the reason we like him so much is because he does something very, very well, and it allowed him to get on the field early. And so, yes, there's a ton of talent ahead of Zaden Walker at Georgia at inside linebacker. There's not as much ahead of him in terms of the classes that came before at edge, at that outside position. And so you could see him find the field. Okay, let me say this. Let me put on my Kirby Smart hat and say he's going to play every snap of special teams his freshman year.
Sure.
Like he's going to play and contribute to Georgia winning football games next year because he's going to be a special teams monster.
Yeah, of course.
And he's also going to see the field, I believe, in pass rush situations while he learns the playbook and is behind guys like Chris Cole, guys like Justin Williams, who are maybe a step ahead of him in terms of their progress at inside backer. There's still going to be plenty of reps, which means he stays happy. He continues to develop under King Kirby, and Georgia is stacked at inside linebacker for years to come.
I mean, you've listed some of the names. Let's list outside linebacker and understand what we try to mean here when we're talking about getting on the field. I'm just going to go straight up. Chaz Chambliss, we've talked about setting an edge and spilling to the outside. Great. Getting after the pass, getting after quarterback and pass rush, not his skill set that he does. Okay, so talking about passing down, great. He's off the field already. Gabe Harris, David Wilson, Mpemba, even in those lower classes we've talked about, which we're very high and we're very excited about. Mpemba, Michael Williams gets the edge, but Kirby has already shown he'll take uber talented people, mix them around, and put them in different positions on the field. And if you're talking about one of the starters coming off in those packages, and now you're talking even the defensive line rotation, go ahead and throw Michael inside a little bit. Go ahead and get Damon or Harris or those guys. All of a sudden, blitz packages, even with standing up, even having guys floating around the line, standing up on one side or another, that fits. Again, here, freshmen in the SEC. It's very hard to do what CJ Allen did. Insanely difficult. And we were so mad at him. And truth be told, it was unfair. Really easy is take your raw, fast twitch, I want to go tackle somebody ability and just heat-seeking missile on a quarterback. It's the easiest thing there is to do on defense.
If a running back gets in front of you, bad day for the running back.
Take him with you. Put him in a blender and
put him in the satchel and just carry him back there to the quarterback.
I could see that happening early and often as a way, a la Jalen. The same thing. We saw that with Jalen a lot. There wasn't many break off in coverages, and you play zone behind to mask a lot of that, and you just hope that the athleticism gets home. But he's going to be an inside linebacker, and he's going to make. Look, I'll call this shot. He's going to make somebody transfer. He's going to make one of those uber talented guys transfer because this guy he's freakish. Y'all, he's freakish.
He's very good. He's very good, and Kirby doesn't stop. The 2025 class is already shaping up to be another absolute gold mine of talent. Second 5-star in the fold already. A couple 4-stars. This already the second linebacker in this class. Like Glenn Schumann. Glenn Schumann he's silly. And the things that him and Kirby are doing on the recruiting trail are absolutely unfair to the rest of college football. And we are here for it.
Give me more of it.
We love it. Hey, this has been Locked On Bulldogs, your podcast for the Georgia Bulldogs every single day. We will be back next week. We've got tons more to discuss. All about looking ahead to the 2024 football season, which is really right around the corner. We got more to break down, more this or that's, more future opponents to talk about, and we will see you guys then.
See ya.